To replace that corporate income, we drained our savings account, bottom of the bottom. But looking back, it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
And that's just like flipping. So are you willing to take that leap and go all in?
This is The Agent Seat, a podcast by Irongate Inc. Realtors. Real stories behind real estate, one conversation at a time.
I've heard your story a couple times, but would you mind walking us through how you got into real estate? Everybody's stories here is different.
Yeah. So I got licensed in 2015. So I was working a corporate job at the time, and my husband had always wanted to flip houses. So he kind of said, hey, you should become a realtor. And I was like, no. I'm not salesy at all. He said, no, I think you'd be really good at it. So I was actually pregnant with our daughter, who's now 11. I did my classes, and my whole idea was that I would just do this part-time, and then it would eventually fade out, and I would just become a stay-at-home mom, and I just wouldn't have to work.
Yeah.
Well, it ended up exploding. I did, which just doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but I did $2.8 million my first year, and then my last year of real estate, I just did 19 point something million. So it kind of exploded very quickly, turned into a very quick full-time job. And then I eventually got to quit my corporate job and do this full-time.
And did you fail your test a couple times?
Yeah,
Or how
so
did that
I
go?
failed my test 4 times.
Okay, on purpose, right?
So yeah, kind of. So I didn't study because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I really was just like, I don't want to do this. I don't know if I failed it 3 times or 4 times, but it took me, and I only passed it by 1 point the last time I passed.
Oh, wow.
And I finally studied because my husband's like, you have to study. Because by the time I passed my test, our daughter was born. That's like how long.
Oh, how long it took.
Yeah, which then you went into class.
Okay.
You didn't do it online. So it was, I don't know how long the program was, but I went into class every weekend. I think it was 8 hours on Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, and then started that pregnant, and then by the time I passed it, she was already born the whole time. Yeah.
So did you go to Sinclair? Because I took some classes there. I know they have real estate, or did you go somewhere else?
I graduated from Eastern Kentucky University with a bachelor's degree. That really didn't do a whole lot for me. I went to college for social. It's for general health science. So I was going to be can't do anything
What
with
were you going to even do with
I was going to
that?
be a nurse.
Okay.
And then that didn't work out. And then I changed my major to health administration.
Okay.
And then that didn't work out because I worked in a nursing home in high school.
Okay.
In STNA or something maybe like that. So I was like, I'm going to be a nurse. That didn't work out because nursing's very hard. Health administration, I was like, I was just done. And then, so I just said, let's just do a general health degree. And I graduated in 3.5 years. I just did it really quick so that I could move up here to be with my husband, Mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So to Sinclair and got my real estate certificate. Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I got it. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm not even really from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have a couple questions from
Yeah.
that. One is, how did you meet your husband if you were down there and he was up here?
Okay. He's from Franklin, and I was in the same dorm as a girl from Carlisle who ran around with him in high school, and she introduced us.
Okay.
And yeah, that was it. Yeah, I had a car, she didn't, so I would drive us home, her house, and she said, I think you should meet this guy. And I was like, no, I'm good. And we met the first weekend we've been together ever since. So, and that's
wow.
over 16 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was he flipping houses at that
No,
time, or how?
he was actually flipping cars.
flipping cars.
Yeah, so he would go to
How-
the auction,
okay.
buy cars, be done to him, and then he would resell them. He had another job too that was like a side
Yeah.
thing, but yeah, that was his thing. He would go to the auction every Tuesday in Franklin, buy cars, and then just resell them.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he didn't start flipping houses until I got my real estate license.
Okay, I was going to ask, why didn't he get his license then if he was the one into flipping?
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, I really don't know.
just wanted to be a team.
Yeah, yes. I think I'm more social than he is. So I think he just thought you have the personality, and I do have the personality for it. I'm pretty open and social. So, and he's more reserved. So it kind of worked out. The balance worked out. I got licensed in 2015. They flipped their first house in 16 maybe. But at that time, my brother-in-law, my husband, and then his boss at his old full-time job, Mike, they all worked their full-time jobs. So they all worked 40 hours a week and flipped houses on the side. So they maybe only did 1 or 2. I'm trying to think what year this is. I want to say maybe in 2024. A lot of changes were being made. So my husband said, I'll take a layoff I think this was in the spring of 2024. And he said, let's just see if we can do it. And I said, okay, we'll do it until December. Flip houses until Christmas. If it doesn't work out, you can just go find another job. Because he managed like a team. So he took a layoff. 2 weeks later, Mike, our other partner, got fired out of the blue. He had been doing corporate his whole life. So they just said, hey, let's try it, see if it works out. And then a week ago, my brother-in-law just quit his full-time job. So they're all doing it full-time now. Okay. Yeah, so they have a company and they all flip. That's all they do now.
Wow. So I've been super interested in that, but my only experience GTV.
Yeah.
You watch it and you're like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
How long does it typically take to start and flipping?
From start to finish, once the crew gets going, they can usually do it 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's just, you have crews do it.
Yeah, they're going in and knocking down
Chip are in there. Yeah, which that is true, but you're really sending crews in there and they're just doing it and you're just managing the job.
Okay.
So when they first started, my husband and brother-in-law, they did the work. Well, then that just became to the point where it's not feasible. You can't flip that many houses, only 2 people. Okay. So once they started growing, they started hiring crews. And it's a lot more work, I think, than people think. But if you get good at it. Yeah.
For sure. And it sounds like he had experience in managing people.
Oh, yeah. He's the manager of it. And all 3 of them have their own little niche. So they create a really good team.
So they work well together.
Yeah, they work well together. They all have their specialty and they do a really good job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you go in, you're the realtor, I'm assuming.
Yes.
For the houses. Okay. So how does that work?
I don't do anything with the flips.
No.
That was the rule.
Okay.
I have a whole real estate business of my own. I started this before they started flipping, so I just list them. Now, they will come to me for advice, like, hey, how much we think this house will sell for $350. What do you think?
Okay.
But my husband does all the design. They do all the managing of it. I basically list it when it's ready to go.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
How much of your business do you think that takes up? 20% or?
This year, they're doing really well this year. Last year, out of 20 million, we'll say 20 million, 5 million of that was them.
Okay.
Last year.
I didn't realize there was that many houses in the area to flip. Where are they? Do they just stick to a certain neighborhood or?
They'll kind of go anywhere.
Go anywhere?
Yeah. Okay. Franklin is our niche just because my husband and brother-in-law are from there. Okay. But they do a ton in Cincinnati too.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they do a ton.
So you guys go all the way down to Cincinnati?
All the way down to Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because your home office is Springboro.
Yeah. My home office is Springboro, but I do a ton down there. I did a ton down there before. And then they just kind of gravitated. That was where housing availability was to flip, because a big part of flipping is finding.
That's I was going to say.
That's the biggest part.
Okay.
So you create these relationships with people who can get you in the door and say, hey, I have this house that's worth X amount.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. So it's getting your foot in the door and creating those relationships that kind of, it's just like being a realtor.
I was just going to say
it's
that
exactly like
really
being a realtor. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like the more relationships you have, the more opportunities that are going to come your way. And then you just build off of it. But on the flip side, it is just like being a realtor. If the house doesn't sell, you don't get paid.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's all commission based. There's no paycheck coming in for us every month. And when he was working as full time, it was a little easier because it's like, okay, every 2 weeks we'll have that steady paycheck.
Yeah.
I don't have that anymore. So it's all commission based. All when somebody sells a house. Wow.
Now you're successful in your own right, and obviously he's been doing this a while now.
Yeah.
So for somebody that's just starting out flipping houses and things, do you think that it's important for them to have that full-time job so they don't rely on the commission or each person, you think?
Yeah, I think it varies on personality. For me, starting real estate, it was super helpful that he had the full-time job. Now, I will say, when I started real estate, I also had a cancer diagnosis.
Oh.
Yeah, after our daughter was born, I had a major surgery to remove a tumor inside of my spinal cord. So I was off for a while. So after that, I quit my full-time job. I said, I'm just done. I don't want to do this anymore. So me kind of getting on my feet to replace that corporate income, we drained our savings account, bottom of the bottom. But looking back, it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
And that's just like flipping. So are you willing to take that leap and go all in? Because like we tell realtors, part-time agents, it's really hard to be a part-time agent.
Yeah.
You work 24 hours a day. And if you look back and see, full-time agents are always more successful than part-time agents. Flipping's kind of going to be the same way.
Okay.
If you focus all your energy into something, you're usually going to get that reward back But it's a big step.
Yeah.
It's a huge step to go from a steady paycheck to none.
Yeah.
Until a house sells.
And that was one of the things that I was going to ask you about, is because I've met with different agents now and seeing their stories and having either like a job on the side or just going in full time.
Yeah.
And it seems like it works differently for different people.
Yeah.
But it does seem like the trend is if you are here and committed for a little bit at the beginning, then it's going to pay off more in the end.
It will. It'll pay off. And it's hard. And some health insurance people have a lot of money for our health insurance because it's not given to us by a company. And there's definitely pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
Put all your time and energy into it, really. We work 24/7 in real estate. We have rental properties. We do flips. I'm a realtor.
Do rental properties too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in with real estate, it does take up a lot of time and we work all the time. But the cool thing about it is we make our own schedule.
Yeah.
You know, if the kids have a softball game or a t-ball game, I can go to it and just schedule around it.
I think it definitely depends on the person's personality.
It's personality. It's 100% personality.
And I found that as agents, you guys have to be really self-driven.
Yes.
How important do you think that is, like for new agents coming in?
Oh, it's insanely important. And I will say, in all honesty, I'm not a self-driven person. Like I am not one to be like, okay, today we're going to do that. That's just not who I am. I rely on my husband for that. He is very self-driven and he pushes me to be better than what I think I can be. So now that I'm in it, it's just, I'm so used to it. I wake up, I find clients, I sell houses. Like now I'm just in a rhythm. But when I first started, I was not self-driven. It was very much, he pushed me in a good way. I mean, I would get annoyed. I still get annoyed sometimes. You know what I mean? But I think that's good to have somebody push you and say, you can do this. You can be better. In this kind of job, it is helpful to have support too.
Yeah.
Because it is hard. You work a lot and your reward is not instant. You know, we tell new agents, you really need to give yourself 2 solid, good years.
Okay.
All in. If you can't do it after 2 years, it's probably not for you. But it takes time. I mean, you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your business, there's money going out, and you're just looking like, oh my gosh, there's no money coming in. And you may have a hard month. Pretty successful, I feel like. But last month, I only sold 2 houses. So it's like, well, that sucked.
Yeah.
So you're always revamping yourself too, I feel like, okay, what could I have done better last month? Because at the end of the day, clients are important, but you got to pay your bills. So you have to run it like a business because it is a business.
Yeah.
And you are the business.
And I love that you bring that up because that was another point that I wanted to ask you about is that I didn't know because I'm not a licensed agent. So coming in, I didn't realize how much of you guys really have to be business owners.
Yeah.
And all of the marketing and all of that.
It's like all the marketing that you have to pay for, the signage that you pay for, the ads that you have to pay for, the social media that I hate so much. I hired somebody to do my social media for me because I'm 36 and that's not, I didn't grow up with that kind of stuff. So there's money, just like any other business, there's money going out every month and you have to go back and say, okay, is this helpful for my business? Should we not pay for this? It's a lot of checks and balances to make sure that you're doing what's best for your business at the end of the day.
And were you somebody who tracked all of that from the beginning?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Would you go back and do that differently now or?
Probably, but I do think when I started, it was a lot different when I started. When I say I've been in this for 10 years, that's almost unbelievable for me because I can still remember when I first started, but really wasn't even that big then. I mean, it's always been there, but not like how it is now. Everybody's communicating online. I did a ton of Facebook back then. Like Facebook helped me a ton with my business. And honestly, I would say I probably didn't put a lot of money into it in the beginning. I just kept running off my personality and connections. My husband's from Franklin, so that helped a ton. His dad was a teacher. His mom was the cook. So I had a lot of connections just by my last name. As you get bigger, you're like, okay, how do I sustain?
Yeah.
How do I keep this pace? And that's where you have to start looking for other ways to gain business, like the social media, like the changing up your marketing, Zillow Showcase. And now that when I started, I was 25. Now that I think the older you get, the more wise you get. Now I start to track it like, okay, this lead program is not working for me. We got to get rid of it. The social media thing, I'm giving it a year. I don't know what month we're on, but we'll give it a year. But we are seeing growth. Like we are seeing some success with it. So you got to give it enough time to work, but you also have to remember, okay, this is money going out.
Yeah.
I have to make it has to make sense for what I'm doing.
For sure.
And not everything works for everybody. And that's what you have to like, some people just aren't social media. Some people aren't going to do it. You know, some people aren't people who will just go knock on doors. Got to find your niche.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you you and what makes you successful, I think.
And I love that you bring up that you are not a social media person.
Oh my gosh.
But I think if you were to ask other agents in the office, you're like top 3 they think of people online as the social media person.
I don't get it all. Like honestly, if I did not have this job, I probably would delete all social media.
Okay.
I think that we compare ourselves too much. I do it too. Like I'll get on, I follow these agents who have out in California that have 3 million followers and like all their videos professional, but that's not reality. West, we're regular people and get in your head. And I'll be honest, it gets in my head sometimes. I'm like, gosh, why am I not producing that much? Or why am I not? So I think social media is a good thing, but I think it can also be a bad thing.
Yeah.
So there's a balance. And I will say hiring my social media girl, it's probably one of the best things I've done, I think. Okay. And I still go back and forth about it. And I've told her that. I talked to you about it. Yeah, I was on the fence about it, but she's created a presence for me online that I don't have to manage. So it's almost like I'm getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I have somebody posting for me. I'm present, but I'm not constantly on social media looking for the trends, seeing what's going on. Because I just don't like that part of it. I don't want to sit and scroll.
Yeah. And if it doesn't bring you joy, I think it's really important to just go ahead 100%. And outsource that.
Yeah. And that's what it is. Yeah. And Morgan is amazing at it. She's so good at it. That's just not who I am.
Yeah.
She's 10 years younger than me. So it's like it's different. So I don't like social media. No, I don't.
But you obviously think it's somewhat important.
I think it's totally important. And honestly, I don't even think it's important as much now, but it's going to be important in the future. We're doing this for social media now. Where is it going to be in 20 years?
Yeah.
And if you don't eventually start building that presence, where are you going to be in 20 years?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy right now with how things are evolving, especially with AI.
Oh, it's crazy. ChatGPT runs my whole life.
Yeah, it is.
That is the one. ChatGPT, my daughter can attest, runs I ask it everything every single day. Like, it runs my life. I use it every single day just for everyday life.
I do too. I used to use chat. I use Claude now.
Oh, who's Claude?
CLAUDE.
But ChatGPT, literally, I'll ask it a question and it'll be like, on this date, you asked me about this.
You have to rebuild it, but Claude is agentic. So it will do stuff without you asking it. You can set up and be like, give me this report every Monday and it'll draft it. And you can connect it to like all your emails and it'll draft your emails. So you don't have to do that. So it is like 10 steps
ahead of ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is like a Google on steroids.
Yes.
And Claude is like your personal assistant.
It's an assistant. I might have to get a Claude.
Yeah.
I might have to.
I love it.
Yeah, it's just nice and it's helpful, especially like me. I have 2 kids,
I know. It is. It's the same. I have the same problem with Amazon where I'm like, I don't want to buy from Amazon. I want to buy from small shops, but I'm like, Amazon is so fast and cheap.
Easy.
It's so
easy.
hard.
Like, my kid's like, hey, I need this by tomorrow. I'm like, well, Amazon will get it here by 4 a.m. Yeah, no, it is. Everything is so fast. And I will say, I do think that's one of the hardest things in real estate. I've joked, I'm going to get a landline with an answering machine. And people can call me and leave a message like in the 90s, and I'll answer it when I get home. But everybody wants everything at their fingertips. And that's probably one of the hardest things about real estate is, especially if you have clients that are younger than you, the patience isn't there.
Yeah.
And then you feel this need to always be on. And that's hard.
Well, you can have AI
do it for
now.
you.
Do it for you.
I need to look into Claude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Yeah, it's super nice. And I know your website is at Luxury Presence.
Yes.
When I look at it. Okay. I don't know if they specifically, but I'm trying to get for us here where you can have chatbots on the website so that
mine has that.
Does yours? Okay.
Yeah, so mine has, which I actually have to have a call with them for budgeting reviews, but they'll lead capture.
Yeah.
So they'll talk far enough and then it'll send me a message saying, hey, you need to jump in. And all I got to do is go back and just start talking.
Yeah. And I think that is super nice and valuable now
it's
because
so
of,
helpful.
like you said, people expect it right away.
It's right away.
And I think that I saw a statistic recently that agents specifically, are not reaching back out for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And at that point, they've moved on.
They have moved on. But you think 48 hours, you're like, okay, that's only 2 days. To them, that's a month.
I know.
But to you, you're like, gosh, in the last 48 hours, I've done A, B, C, and D. And you have to find a balance between what's important now and what can be done later.
For sure.
Oh, and that's hard
Yeah.
to find. Is that new buyer who needs you to call them in the next 10 minutes more important than your client you have now who's having a meltdown because the house didn't appraise? You got to make those decisions. And real estate at the core is a relationship business. That is all it is. It's making relationships with people. It's supporting people. That's all it is. So if you can maintain that and find that balance, you'll be successful.
Yeah.
At the end
And
of the
I
day.
think that's really important that you say that because I know some people say they're afraid that AI is going to come
take
in
over.
and take over. And I'm just like, it can't in these kind of jobs. I can assist
No.
you, but
Yeah,
like
no, it can assist
you
me.
guys are the ones selling the houses. And
Well, a
having
bot can't take you to the
relationships.
house.
No.
Like
Yeah.
maybe one day there's like crazy stuff that you can just open the door and everything be videoed and stuff. But I think at the core, everybody wants human interaction. It'll be interesting to see like how when our 11-year-old's 36, like how she interacts.
Yeah.
But when I call the pharmacy and I'm talking to a bot for 10 minutes, I'm immediately like, just let me talk to a human being.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to talk to somebody. So I think truly at the core, people still want to talk to people.
Yeah.
But they want it to be efficient
Yeah.
and effective.
Yep.
And I think that's what AI can help us with.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, which I think it's a little different when you are paid the way my husband and I are. There's nobody putting a 401k back for us. There's nobody matching anything. So we have to do all that ourselves. And when you have to do that yourself, you actually realize how much it takes to actually survive. So you should really pay attention and future plan in case something like that does happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't want to sound like doomsday because that's not
Yeah.
what I mean. But you do have to think because I'll have people come up to me like, the market's going to crash. And I'm like, that's my whole life. Like, why
Yeah.
would you say that to me? But my husband and I have talked about that. Like, what would happen if the market
Yeah.
crashed? We, save enough capital. You can buy all the houses that turn them into rentals. You have to have a future plan no matter what you do.
Yeah. I think that's super important.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be a realtor forever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and if the market,
you never know.
the market
I
can
mean,
crash.
yeah.
Anything could happen. So you just have to be prepared for anything like that, I think.
Now, do you go to, just for future agents who are watching, financial advisor with?
Oh,
or
yeah.
how
I
do
have
you
a
guys- okay.
we have a financial advisor. We have an accountant. We have like an estate planner. So we have an attorney who does like all of our estate planning. Yeah, we have all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
it's
never
very
want to do
important.
that myself.
No. Well, taxes as a realtor's hard.
I can imagine.
Because you have
yeah.
to pay every city you sell a house in. You
my
have to pay them
goodness.
taxes. I'll write 20 checks at the end of the year, at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year. No, so it's super important to have an accountant on your side. And in my opinion, one that you trust wholeheartedly because they're managing your finances. And we have an estate planner who sets up our trust and all that kind of stuff. That stuff is really, really, really important. Like, if you have kids, you should have a will. Now I'm going to get on a whole soapbox thing, but like I
What
am
have
very,
started.
yeah, I know. I'm a very much like anything could happen at any time, which I
Yeah.
think the cancer diagnosis kind of did that for me. But you never know. You only have one life, number one, so live it every
Yeah.
day. And two, you don't know what's going to happen next. So everything should be planned out, in my opinion, for your future. And you can't control everything. But you
can
should
plan for it.
You can plan for it. You should
Yeah.
make sure your kids are taken care of. Like our rental properties and all that, our assets need to be protected. And you need to have money for the future. I have friends who are like, oh my God, we never even thought about it. Well, like, we
Yeah.
don't even want to think about that. And it's like, well, nobody wants to think about it.
Right. But you have to.
But you have to. And again, I think like with the financial part of it is when you start saving yourself in savings accounts and when you're starting to put your own money into your own investments and nobody's doing it in the background for you, like, where's all my money going?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a different take. It's a different light. I'm
think
not the best at that.
yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm not the best at that. And that's why my husband's really good with money, thankfully. But yeah, that's why we hire all those people to tell us. I'm a big believer in everybody is an expert in something. I think I'm an expert in selling and helping people buy a house, is an expert in tax. So I'm going to hire him. My inspectors are professionals in inspecting, appraisers. We should all lean on each other. We're all one big team.
As far as building a team, so outside of your personal life, you have all of these connections and things with, like you said, inspectors that can assist your clients. And I didn't know that agents had all of those connections.
Oh, yeah.
So how valuable is that to your business and your
valuable.
clients?
The inspectors that I use, I can call them on a daily basis and just be like, hey, how are you? And that's important because they'll give it to you straight. You know they'll take care of your clients. I have appraisers that I talk to that I've known forever. And one of the really cool things about me that I think makes me even more valuable is we flip houses. So I have roofers. I have handyman. I have a plumber. I can call a more small town who will probably do it for half the price. So I always tell my clients, if something breaks, you call me first because I have anybody and everybody that you could think of to fix it and do it right and do it reasonable. And I think that's huge for a realtor to have.
Yeah, I think it is too. The longer I'm here, the more valuable I really see that for you guys. And then each of you have your own assets and people that you know, and then Irongate has their own people as well. So I think that's
it's huge.
It's like a big web.
Yeah, it's huge. And I think too, the great thing about Irongate, which I think has came through, I know Rhonda's mentioned it since she's bought the company out. And I don't know, you're newer here, so you've probably seen it, is we are a huge family. If I can't find somebody, I might call Morgan or I might call Ellen and just say, hey, who do you have? My guy can't do it. So it's super helpful to have that environment because we all support each other. And I think having Irongate behind us makes us more successful agents. Yeah. Because not only are we experienced and we've been here forever, but we truly love and care about each other and we help each other. Yeah. And we all want to be successful and we want to see each other be successful. It's not just about my success, it's about everybody's success as a whole. Yeah. So yeah, I think we're the best in the business. Yeah.
I can go to any agent, I feel like, and ask a question. Yeah. All of the managers, when I go to any of the offices, I can go in and ask a question. Nobody has ever made me feel stupid for asking a question. No. And you guys are really supportive of the other offices as well. Whenever we go to any events, like Washington Township will be putting on an event, and there's people from Springboro or what office coming, all the retirement parties that I've been to, and people are coming from other offices. Yeah. And I just think that it really speaks to the culture here because you guys are technically competing against each other.
Oh, 100%.
But you really do support each other.
And like you said, competing. I tell people this all the time. Even if you're from a different brokerage, like on the buy and the sell side, because sometimes it can get nasty. And I know other agents out there, but whether you're with Coldwell Banker, Sipsey Klein, Keller Williams, if we're doing a deal together, we are on the same team. Our goal is to get this to the closing table. Now, obviously, things happen in between there, but I think all agents should be on the same team because the goal is to get the house to the closing table. The goal is to get the sellers out of the house. The goal is to get the buyers in the house. So no matter whose team you're on, you should all be working together. Because when I first started out, I knew nothing. I had no idea. So there's a ton of agents who no longer work for Irongate who helped me become who I am today, who are hugely successful working for different companies. And every time I call them or see their name, I'm like, this is going to be a good deal. We're going to be fine. Just because they're so knowledgeable. And I think no matter who you work for, you should always treat them as a teammate because we really are.
And I think that's really valuable too, is I've noticed from going to all the trainings and hearing you guys talk about it, is that you really do have a reputation in this business. And
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. If you see the other person's name, the agent's name, and you're like, wow, this person is going to make this really difficult. Yeah. Or this person, this agent is really going to help.
And there could be, honestly, and we all have good days and we all have bad days. There could be somebody out there every time they see my name, like, oh my gosh, here we go. But I would like to think that not. At the end of the day, we want to help each other. I mean, because it is about our clients. Yeah. Yes, we do this for a job. Yes, this is how we pay our bills. But at the end of the day, it's about our client. We have to support our clients and make sure our clients are taken care of. Because this is the biggest purchase they're ever going to make.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless they buy some crazy car. But this is going to be their next 5 to 10 years. So you just have to be diligent and do the best job you can for them.
Yeah. I love that. How at the end of the day, it really is just about the client.
It really is.
Just helping them.
Yeah. And I truly believe if you put your heart first, your heart and soul into it, and you truly care about your clients and you're doing it for the right reasons, the money will follow.
Yeah. I think people can really tell when you're authentic.
100%. I think, and I've made videos about before, a client-realtor relationship is like a marriage. If it doesn't work, get a divorce. There's no you know what I mean? But if all you're doing is chasing the paycheck, you're not going to make it very far because people are going to start to realize, okay, she's not in it for me. Yeah. Or he's not in it for me. They just want a paycheck. put your clients first, do what's best for them. And sometimes what's best for them is not what's best for you.
Yeah.
But they're going to come back. They're going to remember that. And the longer you do this, referral business starts to become huge. And that's when you've made it.
Yeah.
When you have people come back and be like, remember when you sold me this house? But that's when it starts to pay off. That's when you're like, okay, I've made it. I'm doing a good job. And not everybody's going to like you. It's just like life. I have clients who probably never want to see me again. But I know I did my best.
Yeah.
And I put their interest first, whether they agreed with that or not.
Yeah, I think it really is building those relationships long term, because it's not like somebody's just coming in and buying their groceries or something.
No.
They live in these houses for average, 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, and guess what? Things are going to go wrong in that house after they buy it. And guess who they're going to blame? And that's the cool thing about having people on your side is I can call my roofer and be like, hey, they've lived there for 2 weeks. There's a roof leak. Can you go take care of it for me? I mean, that's just how this job doesn't end at the closing table. It continues. And that's why I tell my clients, if anything happens, please call me first, because I'm not leaving you once the transaction's over. I'm literally here for the rest of your life.
We're stuck together.
We are. We're stuck together. We're in a marriage. We are married now.
We are married now.
We are married. If you need me, I'm always here. And I would say most of my clients feel that way. But like I said, not everybody's going to like you.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to agree with you. But that's any job.
Yeah.
That's life. And it takes some skin, some thick skin to do this job. And that's where I lean on Irongate. Yeah. I'll call Rhonda or somebody and just be like, I'm done. I'm quitting. And they're like, okay, what happened? And then we talk it out, because you're doing it all the time and it just weighs. It starts to weigh on you. So you have to have that support.
Yeah, I can imagine, because this is an emotional time for your
so
clients.
Emotional.
They're not thinking about how emotional it is for you as well.
No. Well, and you have to think too, and this is what I try to tell myself, that there's a thing where he says an agent should always sell their own house once a year so they can remember how stressful it is. We do this every day.
Yeah.
And I tell my clients that, like, hey, you may have to slow me down, because I do this every single day. So if I'm over-explaining, tell me to be quiet. If I'm under-explaining, ask the questions. I want to make it to where you feel comfortable every step of the way. So I try to ask that of my clients, because it is stressful. It's super stressful. And to them, not having a closing statement 3 days before closing is a freak out. To me, I'm like, we've got it a couple hours before. But so it's our job to keep them calm, within reason. So
it's part therapist, part salesperson,
100%.
part.
100%.
I'm noticing all these different jobs that you guys have at the same time.
Yeah, you are, and that's why I think the relationship between the agent and the client is so important. Yeah. Because if they don't like me or I don't like them, then that whole process is just going to be stressful, and it's just not going to work out. It doesn't always go right. It does not always go right. There's a lot of things in this job you cannot control, but if you can keep your clients calm and make sure they trust you, then you're gonna be okay.
I love that you brought that up too, because that's something that I learned, is that I didn't know about the interview process for you guys to be like, or for your clients to be interviewing you to sell their house. Yeah. And then for you to be able to, like, I've heard the term, like, fire a client before. And I'm like, what? These are all things that are new to me. Can you speak on that a little bit for, like, people who don't know about it?
I will say I've never had to fire a client. I've thought about it, but I've never had to. But yeah, every time I go to into a listing appointment, that's a job interview. Every single time. And you try to do the same thing every time. But those people have different questions. You're talking to different personalities. You're in a different house. You're pulling different comps. You may be in a different area. So every time I walk into a listing appointment, it's a totally new experience, which I love about this job. Every day is different. So if you don't change, this probably is not for you. But every job interview is different. Every buyer consultation is different. Every showing's different. And I know some people in this office, and I've talked to clients about it and just said, hey, if we're not working out, let's just walk away. You owe me nothing. I owe you nothing. And some agents have fired clients, because why work with somebody that you don't like? Yeah. And you don't have to. There's nobody making you. Like, we sign contracts, but I'm a big believer in, if you don't like me, I'm going to let you out. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to hold you to anything, because I don't want you to hate me at the end of this and give me a bad review. Yeah. Just say, hey, it's not working. Okay, fine. Totally fine. But I've never had to fire somebody, thank goodness. But I've had listings expire. It's a punch in the gut, because you feel like you did everything you could, but you just have to move on.
I'd like to circle back a little bit to, I've heard you talk about Irongate several times. Yes. And you like being here. And
I do.
Have you been here the whole time?
Whole time. So I interviewed with 2 companies when I got my real estate. So backtrack. You have to have a sponsored broker before you can sit for your test. So it's like a reverse job interview. So you go interview brokerages that you would like to work for. I only interviewed 2 because I did not want to do this. So I interviewed Irongate with Bill Rogers, who is still here, and Coldwell Banker. I don't remember who I interviewed with Coldwell Banker, but I wanted to be part-time.
Okay.
And Coldwell Banker said, you can't be part-time, you have to be full-time. And Bill Rogers said, hey, you can be full-time, you can come in 1 day, you can come in 10 days, we don't care. So I said, okay, I'll sign up with Irongate. And I've been there ever since.
And
Never
I'm
left.
sure that people have called you
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to get you to leave. So why do you stay?
In all fairness, I've sat down with other brokerages for interviews. I didn't do it up until probably a couple years ago, maybe. And there's just nothing that they can give me that's better than here. Ellen and I were just talking about this. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. At the end of the day, your income is based on how hard you are willing to work. So you can't really dazzle me with that. So what else can you get me for? You're not going to have the same environment that we have. I'm not going to probably be able to call the owner of my company at 11:30 on a Friday, almost in tears, telling me, you know what I mean, not to quit. You're not going to have people who have held my babies when they were born. Or, I mean, I have videos of when I told, Teresa and all them I was pregnant. Like, there is just something about Irongate. They're my family. Yeah. Like 110%, these people are my second family. And no other brokerage can give that to me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
I love that.
Yeah.
I haven't been to other brokerages, but and I've only been here since November, but I think it's so cliche. I heard it when I came in, welcome to the family, and you see it on all the posts.
Oh, yeah.
I really do feel that from everybody here.
And everybody who has left Irongate, for whatever reason, has been hard. But there's a huge team that left probably 3 or 4 years after I came to Irongate, and they taught me a lot of what I know today. And I cried when they left. We're still friends. We're still close. We still work together on deals and stuff. But that was hard. They were part of the family when Greg Gillen and Steve Brown decided to sell the business. That was hard. Greg taught me a lot of what I know. So even in all the changes, the one thing that stayed constant is family. And I don't think anybody's left with a negative taste in their mouth. Maybe they have, but I think at the end of the day, nobody can say anything negative about our culture.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah. Whether they've left for whatever reason or whatever the case may be, I think our culture will always be the best. And it was the best with Greg and Steve running the company, and it's continued with Rhonda. I think she's done a great job continuing that. Okay. And now we're female-led. Like,
I was going to ask you about that since you were here during the change there. Do you think it went smoothly?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Obviously, it was, again, I would say probably still am. The Gillens, his kids, Ryan and Kyle, are my age. Lindsay's daughter goes to school with my daughter. Greg had owned the company, super easy to get along with, taught me a ton of what I know. I still talk to him every now and then. So that was hard. And you feel like almost like you're being abandoned, but in the back, at the end of the day, this is a business. So you have to remember that people are making decisions based on what their family needs, what their business needs, and you can't hold that against them. So it was hard, and Rhonda has been doing it herself, and I think she has done a phenomenal job with this company. I think she's bringing us into the 21st century, which no shot at Greg and Steve. That's just how it was. And real estate's changing, like you and I have talked about. Like, it's totally different, and I know it's a change for Rhonda, all the things that are happening, but I think she's done an absolutely amazing job with this company, and she's kept the culture while still growing us to make us better. Yeah. To make us better agents and holding us more accountable. So I think the only thing I would say was rough was just that I was close with who owned it. Because she came over as an agent first. Yeah. She came over selling quite a bit of real estate on her own at that time. And I know a lot of people were nervous because you have to think Irongate, but we were a lot older agents were here. And that was a shock to them because change is hard for people. I don't mind change, but change was hard, we don't like it or something happens, we'll just leave then. But I have no desire to leave unless something crazy happens.
If you could give 2 pieces of advice to new agents coming in.
I think we touched on this earlier. You got to put your heart in, like all in. You have to be all in. if you want this to be a career, you have to treat it like your career. You go into work every day, and it's not fun. But you go into work every day, you put the work in, you make the connections, and you treat it like a full-time job. It should be a full-time job. If you want this to be your life, you have to treat it that way. And then my second piece of advice would be, do not lose your family to this business. And that people are going to think that's odd, but if you talk to any major producing agent, they will tell you, and I've interviewed some of them, because when I started, I had a young daughter, and you get overwhelmed very fast. And they will say, I miss time with my kids. And that is the one thing that I will not do. Time is a thief, and you cannot control time. So I can't get that time back with my kids. So I choose to make time for them, because if you don't, this job will overtake your life. It will become the only thing that you focus on. So before you get super big and you're taking phone calls every 5 minutes of your life, just remember, what is my first priority? And for me, it's my family. I just happen to have a really supportive family who works with me and goes with me and does all the things. And it'd be cool if they became realtors one day too. But put the things that are important before this job, because it will become all consuming. And if you want it to be, fine. And it's easy, because then you get emotionally attached to these people. And some clients you become even more emotionally attached to, and you want to do everything for them. But then you have to think, okay, I was a wife first. I was a mom first. God's always first. So you have to make time for yourself and your family, because you can lose that connection very quickly. Yeah. There is no breaks. Ellen and I were just talking in the office. She was in Greece and I was in Florida. We were working.
Yeah.
Just balance, I guess.
Yeah.
To sum it up, just find balance.